Well, good afternoon. I am currently sitting on my front porch outside in a t-shirt on December 11th, 2020. You heard me right. In a t-shirt on December 11th, 2020. We are exactly 2 weeks from today away from Christmas. Unbelievable that I'm in, again, excuse me, a t-shirt. Now, hopefully, we'll have a white Christmas, but as it stands right now, it's a green one at this point. That's kind of how this year has gone, though, isn't it? Right when you think you got your finger on it, you don't. But that's the way it goes. So I received a message from a friend of mine a few days ago asking the question, how do you deal with what Jesus says about the righteousness of the Pharisees in Matthew chapter 5? And what Jesus said to the people he was speaking with, he said, unless your righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And on the surface, you think, oh my, how am I supposed to pull that off? Because on the surface, who could have greater righteousness than scribes and teachers of the law and religious leaders, right? Who could be more righteous than those guys? So my response to my friend was, well, you kind of got to read Matthew 23 to understand what Jesus says in Matthew 5. And what Jesus said in Matthew 23, well, that's the chapter that talked about woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, teachers of the law, you hypocrites. You see, your righteousness can surpass that of a scribe or a Pharisee. Why? Because they pretty much didn't have any. They were more concerned with religion than they were about actually being righteous. They were more concerned with looking righteous than they were than actually being righteous. In fact, Jesus says one of the strongest things I think he says to anybody when he tells the Pharisees in Matthew 23 that you guys travel the world to gain a single convert. And when you do, you turn him into twice the son of hell you are. Whoa, that's a really strong statement. But what's interesting is a lot of people today still seem to think that religious leaders, clergy, pastors, ministers, teachers have like this monopoly on righteousness. And it's actually a pretty big danger for those of us who are in professional ministry, because you get to feeling like, well, maybe I should be more righteous than everybody. Well, let me clue you in on a secret. We're not. Not a single one of us are more righteous than any of you. We're all on a level playing field here. We're all in the same boat here. In fact, I would dare say that there are days I probably struggle more than you ever will. And that's just kind of the way that it goes. We're human. We occupy these jars of clay, these earthen vessels. And so, yeah, you have days that go okay, and you have days that don't. But the biggest thing is understanding where your righteousness comes from. As a church leader, I have to understand where my righteousness comes from. And it doesn't come from me. My righteousness comes from God. You see, God made him who had no sin to be sin for us so that we might become the righteousness of God. Yeah, our righteousness is his righteousness. The Pharisees and scribes, they thought their righteousness was their own. And so they received their reward in full, which was pretty much nothing. I want to encourage you. Understand who you really are in the kingdom of God. You're not a peon. You're not a nobody. You're not nobility. We are all equally children of God. equally dependent on the righteousness of God. And we need him more than we ever have right now. Just a quick word of encouragement. You're doing okay. You're going to be okay because you are a child of God. Peace.